High cost of Bay Area housing, literally splitting families apart. Parents learn their kids can't afford to live in their own hometowns. But as KPIX5's John Ramos says, for some, a solution may be close by.
You often hear that housing in the Bay Area is so expensive because they're not making any new land. But what if we use the land we already have? Tara and Michael Wolf are touring the new home they're building for their son so he can live close to them, very close. In fact, it's in the backyard of their Oakland home.
So he has a whole house now for less than the payment he'd pay rent, and it's on our property, and it's increasing our property value, not someone else's.
Officially, it's called an auxiliary dwelling unit, or ADU, what used to be called a mother-in-law house. Demand for the backyard structures is skyrocketing, and it makes sense. Add a small unit to an existing property, and you've effectively sidestepped the housing crisis.
You know, we put a small structure here and I could live in it. It just seems like a very straightforward project. But once you get into it, there's a lot of really large obstacles and hurdles you have to get through.
It turns out one of the biggest hurdles is the neighbors. In most communities, residents have a right to appeal a planning application, stalling a project for months or even years, adding cost and discouraging construction altogether.
Bureaucratic process for getting an entitlement to build is a mess.
But in 2017, in order to encourage more housing, the legislature granted ADUs an exemption from that. Now, builder Dan McDunn says with neighbors no longer able to block projects, it's made such a big difference that he won't build anything but ADUs. In fact, he believes if you could cut out the delays caused by the neighborhood review process, it would end the housing crisis in a matter of a few years.
So like the neighbors that are also complaining about high housing prices are basically responsible for contributing to high housing prices by continuously appealing projects.
Everyone agrees we need more housing in the Bay Area, but it turns out one of the obstacles to that may be the people living next door. In Oakland, John Ramos, KPIX 5.